Hello. Everybody hear me all right? I have a loud voice. I probably don't need the mic. Anyways, welcome and thanks for coming. My name is Shawn Furey. I'm from Maine. I'm a Heroism Educator. My family and I drove here about 22 hours because we really believe in it. And so I want to talk to you for a few minutes about how you can become more heroic, right? See, I believe that the world needs you to become a hero, right? To become heroes. And like you, I like to be on Facebook and Twitter. I still use Facebook because I'm old. I don't have Snapchat or anything. But so I've been on there posting all the speakers' pictures. But one of the things I don't like to see on Facebook and Twitter and on TV is just a constant barrage of drama and anxiety-provoking negativity that Denise talked about yesterday. So I don't know if that's my, yeah, there we go. That's me. So what I wanted to kind of get into is, why do we need you to be heroes, right? Anybody familiar with a lot of political drama on the news and TV lately? Anybody tired of it? How about the constant threat of nuclear war? Doesn't make me sleep very good at night. Every time I turn around, there's another musician dropping dead of suicide or drug overdose. That's not cool. Meanwhile, we've got creepy clowns everywhere to worry about. And of course, Antarctica is literally falling apart. This polar bear is one of the last ones there. I took this picture myself. I'm just kidding. And it's never seemed more possible that we might actually end up in a zombie apocalypse, right? I mean, all these TV shows, The Walking Dead, Revolution, Falling Skies, they really make me think that they're prepping us for something. So, how many of us would like to see the world keep spinning? Anybody besides me? Anybody have anything they want to do in like 5 or 10 years? So, here's the good news. The Walking Dead is still just a TV show, and there's never been a better time to become a hero. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to move from your Clark Kent mode into your Superman mode, your undercover hero mode into your sort of more obvious intervention to improve your world mode, right? So, first of all, I want to let you know what heroism is not. It's important to understand that heroism is not looking down at people, right? It's not being vain and, you're not a narcissist if you try to be heroic. Sometimes you'll find people will try to tell you stuff like that. It's not about pointing the finger at people and shaming someone who's not being heroic, right? But it is about some other cool stuff. So what is it about? Heroism there's different ways. This is a little graph I made for some of my buddies in the heroism community. Some heroes are individuals who embody traits valued by a society, right? Like Anne Frank and John Wayne. Other people think of heroes as individuals from whom we draw energy or inspiration, right? So if I'm a basketball player, I might have a basketball player that's my hero because they're really excelling in some area. And then other people, like myself, tend to focus on heroism as a transformative act in which individuals are intervening in risky situations and making little sacrifices and taking little risks every day to improve their world. So simply put, heroism is an action, right, that you can do, just like playing shooting a hoop or casting a fishing line, jumping over a hurdle, going for a jog, helping somebody up, right? Now, there's different kinds of heroism from my way of looking at it. Obviously, being heroic at all is extraordinary because most people just stand there with the bystander apathy thing, right, and they don't get involved to help. But So what I want you to be aware of is that sometimes there's people that do really big heroic things, like jumping on the subway tracks and saving someone from getting run over, right? Wesley Autry did that. And you have all the ancient myths about these Hercules and people doing these amazing heroic feats. But then other people do little heroic things, right? They just manage something small, their daily life, right? Like we've heard a lot about lately, like intervening to help kids not be hungry anymore, or any other number of ways that you can intervene. Helping a friend, picking up some stuff off the floor, right, without being asked. The important piece is that any action you do becomes a habit over time, right? So if I keep shooting hoops 1,000 times every morning, eventually if I'm Larry Bird, I become a famous basketball player. And it was because I engaged in a pattern of action known as shooting hoops. So sometimes we talk in the heroism community about, is heroism a verb or is it a noun? Is it something you're doing or something you're being? And I believe that the important thing is, the reason that can be confusing is because just like you can manage that big box, that big box store, you can also manage something small. But the important thing is that you learn to develop a management style. So it's not so much that someone is a hero or that they're doing heroic stuff. It's that they're cultivating a heroic management style so that eventually, over time, no matter where you go, you're going to be more likely to jump on the subway tracks, more likely to help feed the kids, more likely to just be a good person in general, right? Like someone we think of as being able to take initiative, follow through, and work as a team, right? So that when you achieve your personal goals, you don't hurt other people in the process. So the other good thing is it's natural to be a hero. I have a little example of that. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this video on YouTube, but it's a mom and dad raccoon rescuing their baby raccoon from the highway. And this is a person in a car that took this video. I just have a little image of it today. But the raccoon dad or mom is literally holding the other parent with its teeth and yanking up the baby. So you see this, I've seen videos where dogs rescue other dogs from, river that's moving towards a waterfall. Even animals have been caught behaving heroically. That's what I want you to remember. The other big piece is it's important to be a hero. So what happens if you're not heroic? Anybody know what happened when bad things happen and no one does anything? You see somebody getting bullied and you don't say, stop it. What was that? That's right. Thank you. From out of the mouth of babes. If you see somebody bullying or abusing or mistreating or exploiting others for their resources and you don't do anything about it, you've made a choice to be complicit in that act, just like Denise said. In the substance use recovery field that I work in by day, they call that being an enabler, because by not doing anything and taking action, you're enabling a person to keep going. So, and keep on staying stuck and doing whatever non-team-oriented behavior they were doing, right? Something selfish or disrespectful or abusive. So why you can be a hero? Reality itself is structured in a way that supports intervention, right? You ever heard of the universal law of cause and effect? The butterfly effect, a butterfly flaps its wings across the world, we get a hurricane over here. So things happen according to a sequence, just like dominoes that fall down. And guess what? You were born with this not-so-secret superpower to intervene and influence things. So the power that you have is the power to influence. Question is, are you going to use it for constructive purposes to build things up in the world, or are you going to tear it down and ruin it? If you remember Lex Luthor from the 80s or Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter, they make poor choices, right? Why you should be a hero? There's no way to not be one. There's no way to not be an agent of influence, an agent of change. Anytime you do anything at all, even when you choose not to make a choice, you've still made a decision to act, right? You've heard that song, Free Will by Rush. I think somebody else mentioned it yesterday. Even when you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. So you might as well start using your power to choose for good, right, with an outcome in mind. And so in other words, you're going to be influencing your situation, and from out of your situation will arise experiences, which will then affect your management style. You've heard of people who grew up in bad situations, and they make poor choices because that's what they learned, right? So you can intervene to halt that process and change it. It's important to do that because it's how you reach your full potential in life. You see, just like frogs in ponds, fish in the sea, mountain lions in the mountain, you have a habitat. It's called your community. And it's more than just people who live around you. It's a sense of connection, right, and support, a place where you can be emotionally and mentally and physically safe. Most of us don't have that, but you can create it. That's the reason to be heroic. So being a hero is kind of like being a gardener, because you're going to get involved and make better vegetables in the garden because you're then going to eat them, right? So it's like an integrated system. It's something that works together. It influences you, and you influence the situation. It's like a baker with a recipe. You make a better recipe so you can eat the food that tastes better. It's like a songwriter makes music because they're going to listen to it, right? They want it to be good. It's like a mechanic who works on a car. They're going to get in and drive it, or somebody is. So if you find yourself in a situation where bad things are happening, like bullying, abuse, coercion, criminality, people trying to bully you out of the workplace, which is called mobbing behavior, then you can be like Batman and turn that pain into purpose, as Brian was kind of getting at there. Instead of dissociating or distracting yourself from your pain, you can embrace it and remain your authentic self in public, but instead of just ignoring the problem and living with it, you can intervene to do something to make it better. So how does one become more heroic? Well, you got to understand a little bit of something about the Monarch Butterfly. Starts out just like you, grows up to be a little caterpillar, then it spends some time in a little cocoon, right? And it becomes a butterfly. So anybody know what happens inside of a cocoon? I like to think that that caterpillar goes on a hero's journey. So you've heard some people talk about this. It's the model that Joseph Campbell and others have been using. It's a story structure template. But I like to say that it's a way for you to learn how to solve problems. So how are you going to use it? You're going to use it as a way of turning your purpose into power, into empowerment. That's another heroic trait, right? First thing you want to do when you're going to be going on these little problem-solving journeys to become more heroic, just like the caterpillar that becomes the butterfly, you're going to take off your mask, right? Just like Wesley, who was pretending to be the Dread Pirate Roberts, or the old man in The Wizard of Oz, right? They weren't being their authentic selves. Second thing is you got to turn on the heart light. Let your feelings start, working, because feelings are like a weatherman. You have to stay tuned in or risk getting caught in a storm. And you remember Deanna Troi from Star Trek was known for her empathy and her ability to feel. Next thing you know, when you have a feeling, you look around and see what's going on, because it might mean there's something bad coming your way, like this shark in the background. So you got to develop situational awareness, start paying attention to your situation, your surroundings. Realize something's going to be a problem and commit to solving it, just like Moana did, and Neo in The Matrix, right? Atreyu in The Never-Ending Story. And then develop a vision for the future. What do you want to have happen instead of the problem? Just like Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen. Once you've done that, you can seek help. Find people that help coach you, right? To teach you how to solve the problem. Like these people did in the movies, Neo and Atreyu. They all went and found a mentor. Luke Skywalker did it with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Join a team. You've all heard us saying that. Get a hero squad. I call it Hero Support Network. You need people that are in your life that want to see you heroic. Because when you start making good choices, you find people might want to take off. Just like Wonder Woman did. And in the Justice League. They all work together. You want to be aware, number 9, is you want to be aware of who's going to resist the change that you're making. Because there are going to be people who don't like it. And you're going to develop your skills and strategies so you can be better and prepared to solve that problem. Anchor yourself mentally and emotionally to achievement. And then you want to, by thinking of your past successes, right? So you're anchored emotionally and mentally to what you can succeed. And you got to take a leap of faith and just crash through that terror barrier, just like Juggernaut. And finally address the problem, but do it in a way that's not like combative, right? When people try to provoke you, you don't have to hit back. That just keeps the cycle going. And be okay with holding your ground like Wonder Woman when people start trying to, push you back, right, and resist your change. Don't buy in to acting out. Don't give up and don't give in. And reap your reward. Be okay with success, right? You're going to get something out of this problem-solving journey. Attempt to reintegrate back into your normal, regularly scheduled life, like Trinity did in The Matrix after she solved the problem. But understand that the problem you knocked down is not knocked out. And it's going to be coming after you because you created a change, but some people don't like that change. So in Wonder Woman, she had people coming after her, the god of war, Ares. Remember Voldemort came after Harry Potter, and Agent Smith came out of Neo. The old school emperor came after Luke. Right? They don't like it when you make change. That's called resistance. But expect resurrection. The hero always makes it through. This is the part of the story where you have to protect your change. And if you can do that like Wonder Woman, like Harry Potter, like Neo, then you can continue to go on more heroes' journeys, and you'll survive that process, and you'll become more heroic. The world will get better, and you'll have turned into that monarch butterfly, the real you, the innate you that's heroic. And finally, you'll be a role model for others. You'll be someone whose story is inspiring and instructive. You'll have created a story-worthy life. And if you can do that, then you can join the ranks of all the men and women who've gone on before you as guardians of the good life. Thanks a lot.
The Hero Roundtables are the global events that ask the question, what is a hero? You've just seen one hero talk. To find more and join the conversation, visit our website or social media.